Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Okay. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but
Oh no.
yeah, I have more energy than I had yesterday, which is good.
Well, that's a step in the right direction at least. Seems to be quite a lot of illness going around recently. I blame the kids going back to school.
Ours are going back next week,
Uh
so they're home this week. I pushed out an update to my
oh,
the JSON
go on.
the JSON everything this morning. Uh,
Hmm.
the website rather. A couple months ago, I updated the JSON schema playground to include to just reorganize the options and whatever. And so I did the same to JSON path today, which didn't have any of the options listed. So I got to add those, and so now people can play around with the options as well. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so it enables things that the specification, like we have, the specification team explicitly decided against things like mathematical operators and the in operator and stuff like that. So I have options that allow those things.
Okay. Oh, I need to get back and do my playground again. I started with good intentions and I just didn't get off the ground with rebuilding it.
Yeah, I like that yours has the ability to share schemas. That's really nice. Mine doesn't have that. Mine will save whatever you do into local storage. Uh,
Yeah.
so that when you load it up again, your last workspace was there. Um,
Mm.
but it it won't you can't share that stuff at all.
Yeah, mine uses the local storage as well, so you don't have to make it save to a URL. But
Mhm.
yeah, it wasn't too hard to build a backend system for it, but it's um I kind of cheated. I just pinched an off the shelf URL shortener and then jerry rigged it. Um so it could probably be easily hijacked. But you didn't hear that from me. But it doesn't cost me anything to run it, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes. Um Julian.
Boys and girls.
You're very quiet, Julian. I think maybe he's playing with something. You're on mute, Julian, so we definitely can't hear you.
Yeah, I know I'm on mute. Am I still low?
It's
There
very,
you
very
go.
low.
It's like you're whispering.
I'm looking at the audio levels and they seem fine here. Okay, I'm gonna rejoin, I guess.
All right, we'll just wait a few seconds for Double Julian. He's been claimed.
We have two Julians.
I assume it's the same because I see in Zoom the audio levels are way lower than elsewhere. So I assume you guys still don't really hear me.
It's hard,
Correct.
but we can. We'll just ask everybody else to speak really quietly, and then we'll all turn our volume way up.
Let's switch to Discord. It has per user audio levels.
Oh, wow, that's clever. If you just shout really loudly or just like use a megaphone or something.
We whisper and Julian shouts, right? That surely works.
Okay. Let's begin. I will drop the issue for today's meeting in the chat. For anybody listening in, it is Open Community Working Meeting for today. The issue in the community repo is 487. That's 487. Just go over our meeting accessibility. I would like to record this meeting for further reference and for those who are not able to attend in person. If anybody doesn't want that to be uploaded to YouTube, please let me know. We'll take care of that. We encourage you to challenge any language or behavior that is harmful or not inclusive during this meeting. We look forward to your participation, but please consider remaining on mute when not speaking and using the Zoom meeting raise hand feature to notify when you would like to speak. And if you are unfamiliar, please have a look at our code of conduct, and all of this meeting accessibility is on the issue for the meeting of today. I am the facilitator for today, and the first item is to look at last meeting's action items. It feels like a long time ago now. I can't remember if there are any action items. There were some action items. Last week's issue is 484. There were two action items. One of them is for Julian to provide an update on the progress of the critical interfaces list work. It looks like that has been done. Does Julian or anybody want to add any comments to that action item from last time?
Assuming you can hear me, let me know if not. Yeah, sorry. All right, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, I dropped a link in the Postman channel. So if anyone has direct comments, you can send them already, but I know it will be easier once the pull request is up on the website repo, which should happen tomorrow. So tomorrow there'll be a pull request you can put more comments on if you have them.
Okay. Super. The next action item was for Bernhard, but he's not here today. That question is the implementers survey, and we'll catch up with him next week or during the week to see what's going on with that issue. Does anybody have any other comments they would like to make regarding last week's meeting before we continue with the agenda for today? Okay, we go on today's agenda. the issue 487. We have a quite slim agenda today, so I expect we'll get through it. So if you have any other items, please keep them in mind, or even better, please add them to the issue, and then we'll take them in order. The first issue is relating to the new website rollout. One of the things we need to do now that the website is live is to wind down the old services and to put the repositories into archive state. I've made a brief list of the steps that I think need to be done in order for that to be done properly. I've linked that on the agenda. If people could spend maybe just a minute just having a look at that now, and then raising any comments or thoughts if there's anything that needs adding or modifying to that list that just comes to mind, then that'll be really helpful. So I'll just give everyone a minute or two to have a quick look at that. The link is on the agenda item.
I see you've disabled the GitHub pages. Should we archive those repos?
Yeah, so that's one of my items on the list of the things to do. I just wanted to check first if any content from the readmes in those repos needed to be migrated over to the new one, and then leave a message in the repositories readme to say what's happened, why, because I hate turning up to an archive repo and not having a clue why it's been archived, and have to try and work it out. So I'll make a few modifications first and then archive it, but yeah, definitely going to archive it. I've only disabled the main GitHub pages. There's a bit of an issue trying to do that, so I had to reach out to the GitHub support. We thought GitHub would be able to cope with a simple thing like that. But there we go. But yeah, I don't think there are going to be any more issues on that. But yes, I think archiving them is the correct thing to do. I don't think we should delete them. Does anybody have any further thoughts on that?
I think as I go
Okay.
through, I think as I
Sorry.
just interact in general with the website, I'll find things and just raise issues.
Yeah.
I don't know that trying to go through it with a fine-tooth comb at this point is necessary, but maybe it is. Julian seems to have put quite a bit on there. I think that'll do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's going to be things that we discover as we look through it, which is fine. There's a few things that I'll have a look at tomorrow, so no need fixing. Okay, let's move on to the next agenda item. Would you like to introduce yourself? I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. So our new guest for today.
I'm Ellie. Hi, nice to meet
you. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and yeah, thank you for raising the issue with us regarding the implementation, which is not working quite the way you would like. So for the context, the website release caused an HTTP request to be 301 redirected to HTTPS, the secure version. This is the default behavior from Cloudflare. Ellie reported that it caused an implementation to break by not following the redirect, and it essentially just hanged and went into a loop. And I raised the question: do we want to fix this behavior? Should we support this behavior? Should old meta schemas be available on the HTTP only URLs? My inclination is to say no, but I wanted to raise it with this group. Ellie, is there anything you wanted to add before we start that discussion? Anything you want to mention?
Hey, okay, so my experience was that our three environments like went down together, like the integration, staging, and production together stopped responding. It's because of the implementation, of course, but we were lucky because like we figured out which few of the services were affected and realized the workaround very quickly and deployed it. So, but it did like took like 2 or 3 hours for us to realize and take action until we did. I did try, and when I figured out what happened, I tried to look around on the internet to see if anyone else is having these issues, and I couldn't find any, and that's why I came to the Slack channel, like a last resort of trying to figure out what happened, because I wasn't sure if that was the behavior before or I just realized it now. And my point here is just if you do have like old implementations which are production services, they might be affected by it, but we probably should get like more complaints to see that this is the case, but I didn't see any. Like, I'm not sure who uses JSON schema friend in production, but that's us.
Yeah. I'll give my opinion really quick. Like, obviously we don't want to break things, and it sucks when that happens, but in the end, I think this is actually a good thing, because we changed something that should, based on our specification, should have no effect on any clients. If it does, that's exposing bugs that need to be fixed anyway. So it's unfortunate that that this comes up in production, but I think those kinds of things are necessary sometimes to flesh out these problems.
Specifically, implementations, as was discussed in Slack, implementations should be packaging these meta schemas if they support them. They really shouldn't call out to the URL to say, give me this file that should actually just never change. It should be packaged in the implementation. They should be requesting it. And then secondly, given that this is just a single file, what's the security risk of just putting this file available at HTTP only?
I mean, there's there's not really any security risk that I can think of. Maybe someone could do a man in the middle and do something, but I don't know what they would do. So this is certainly not a security risk concern as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, we could opt to support it while this particular implementation is fixing the issue. It wouldn't be a significant piece of work to do that. It's just setting up the configuration to work in that way. It might be a little fiddly. There might be a very, very minor performance hit for the site. But like that's all on Cloudflare anyway, so that's not really our concern.
Yeah. At the same time, supporting this particular implementation in this regard doesn't necessarily if we were to revert it one like Eli, you said you've I know I saw you put up a PR and that has been merged, and I assume the new package has been published with basically a built-in HTTPS redirect. But if this is affecting other packages and then we just haven't reported it, you know, as soon as we move it back to HTTPS only, then those packages will break too. And you know, do we then put it back on HTTPS while those packages get fixed, and you know, back and forth? I think we follow Jason's advice and just say leave it as is. It's doing what it's supposed to do. We do have a redirect to the HTTPS, and implementations shouldn't be requesting it in the first place. So I agree that this is a good change that it's supposed to do. Eli, does that Java package does that cache does it have an HTTP cache that it uses once it's fetched it?
Yeah, it stores in the machine's temp folder.
Okay. Well, that's a help anyway.
I just want to mention that even though I agree that implementation shouldn't be downloading meta schemas, that's not really the problem here. The problem is that the implementation is not following HTTP properly and following the redirect like it should. So this is really an HTTP problem with the library, not you know, how we're serving it problem. If for some reason the HTTP server or request didn't respond at all, then it would be a problem with us. I would call that a problem with us. But the fact that it's not following the redirect, which is the proper thing to do, that makes it, I think, the library's problem.
I think it's worth noting as well that should, you know, Cloudflare go down, not that, you know, ever happens in the history of the internet, then this same issue is going to present, like your system is going to hang because of the same reason that it's going to keep trying to load this resource and not be able to load it, and then it's going to do that hanging behavior again. So really, while you fix the symptom in your PR and got that out, which obviously is really important for you guys to keep your services running today. Longer term, I think you should consider either moving implementation or getting that fixed properly where it's not requesting the meta schemas and it's actually bundled with the meta schemas.
So yeah, our decision was not to use meta validation at all to our schemas. That's the version that we deploy to production. So I agree with all said here. Like one of the option is okay, like not validating with the meta schemas, or bundle them and use them to do it, not download them. As Ben, you said in the chat that URI, the difference between URI and URLs. You're absolutely right. We shouldn't assume it's available on that URI on the internet. I was just the PR that I made to follow the redirects are just like a surgical change to this library, so it could continue the wrong thing that it did just before this change. But the right change would be to bundle them or stop doing the validation of the schemas. So that's what I have to say.
Juan or Julian, do you have anything to add to this particular discussion?
The reasoning sounds fair. I mean, I know I commented on like the HTTP thing on the issue, as I mean, in a way, all the old schemas are actually, hard coded in HTTP as a protocol. So maybe, in some ways the redirect it can be unexpected, but I agree that long term, actually doing the redirect, and as Jason said, this is an HTTP problem. So sounds good.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, given that I successfully used that implementation this morning, I think I understand the answer from you, Eli. But when I integrated it with Bowtie, it actually didn't go out and fetch the meta schemas. So basically, it only does that if you ask for it to do meta schema validation, is what I'm understanding from you. I forgot to actually look this morning. Sorry, I know you can probably barely hear me, and also I'm rambling. But the point being, when Bowtie runs implementations, it runs them without network access, precisely for these kinds of reasons, and it didn't fail. So whatever the package is doing, it doesn't reach out for the meta schemas normally. It must only reach out if you try something in particular, which, from what you said, must be asking it to validate a schema.
Yeah, so when you try to load the schema to the schema store, if you don't provide any additional arguments in the load schema function, it validates it. So it downloads the file.
Oh, I
If
understand what you
want to
mean.
do it, you like put comma null, and then it just don't validate. That's what we did in production.
Okay, now I understand what you mean, which, by the way, I never would have understood what you were talking about, except for the fact that I noticed that this call is recorded, but this is a crazy thing that this implementation does. So there's one method that you call...
It might fail.
Say that again?
If you try your Bowtie now, it might fail.
Yeah. Because I said it was crazy, now someone's gonna... Okay. Just because I don't think everyone understood what the point is here, the implementation does not download the meta schemas automatically. What happens is this implementation has literally one way of validating using a schema. And it's kind of nuts. You call a method called load schema and you pass it a URI. If that URI is the URI for a schema that you already told it about, then it gives you back that schema ready for validation. Why you need to call that method, I don't know, instead of just let me use the schema that I have here already. But if you pass that method a URI that's not in the schema store, then like Eli's saying, it will go fetch that URI and download it automatically. In other words, not only does that implementation look up IDs automatically against the recommendation from the spec to not go fetch network locations, the only API that you have to use is the one that will automatically make that request. So you can't even avoid calling that method. So that I did notice. Okay. I'm not even sure after I explained it whether everyone follows, but now at least I know exactly what you guys were doing and how this happened. Yeah, if I were you, I would not. Yeah, don't call it with it probably what you did already. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, it might be even exploitable to make the server call some random server.
Yeah. Okay. I have no other concerns.
Yeah, I mean,
although I don't understand. You can hear me now. What changed? Nothing changed. Why can you guys hear me now? Okay, I give up.
Yeah, I mean, it could
Well,
definitely be. Sorry, Jason.
I was just saying the only thing that changed is the volume of your voice.
Yeah, I was trying to yell.
Yeah, I guess the only sort of security concern, which I think we might even note in the spec, is or it's good practice with any sort of web development, is if you have user generated schemas that have a dollar schema value, there's not something that's defined. Often implementations will go and fetch that to do meta validation against the document. Like VS Code, for example, does that. But I think that might be different to what you and Julian were describing there.
By the way,
Okay.
we also traced it back to a bug in Java 8, which was resolved. They do follow redirects, but they decided, Sun Java decided not to follow redirects if it has a different protocol. So if going from HTTP to HTTPS, only if it's the same protocol, it will follow redirects automatically. So
That
it's
is a
just the
bizarre
native Java client.
That's strange.
I mean, they probably did it for some cases, I presume, maybe for security, where you might want to redirect from, I don't know, like an HTTP protocol to like a file protocol or something like that. But upgrading from HTTP to HTTPS, that should have been allowed, I guess.
Yeah, there are plenty of reasons not to follow a redirect, but because the protocol changed is definitely not one of them. Or because it changed from HTTP to HTTPS is definitely not one of them.
Okay, so it
Well,
sounds
we'll
like
fix Java then.
sorry.
That's the action item, right?
Okay, so it sounds like the resolution for now is to not make any changes on our front. We're doing the right thing. We've got the 301 redirect in there. And I guess we can keep an eye out for other people coming in with the same questions. It's good the implementation has got a stopgap, plaster sticking over the hole to at least try and prevent people from running into this problem in the future. But ideally, the implementation should not be doing this in the first place, and should be modified in a way where it doesn't need to do this. Yes, thank you. Or Band-Aid, I guess, for Americans. Is there any final comments anyone would like to make on this before we finish our agenda and open it to any other business? No, okay. And thank you for bringing that to us, and thank you for jumping in and being part of the discussion. Always welcome to join us, and please do hang around in Slack and ask any questions you might have. We'd love to have you around. Open the floor for any other business. Does anybody have anything they would like to discuss, or any particular issues or PRs people would like people to take a look at, or any new exciting things people want to share in their lives?
I do have quite a few PRs open. That's all. They're available on. You can see them all on the board there.
Super. Thanks for sharing that. And let's continue to nag people to review those. I'm assuming you've already sort of requested review from people and teams already on those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on those and keep nagging people to move those forward. But thanks for highlighting that. Anything else anybody would like to highlight or bring for discussion? Okay, I think that means we are done. So thank you everybody for joining us for our open community working meeting today. And feel free to reclaim a half hour of your time. And hopefully see you all next week. Have a good week, everybody. See you again soon.
Bye.
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 Bye.